controls of this.
What do you
It's
want?
like 1 o'clock.
You want me to drive?
If you want.
Sure.
I stole it from Scott.
He doesn't want to drive.
I don't know how to drive.
Let me know when you're ready.
He doesn't wanna know. We got counsel?
Good?
Are you counsel too? Do we still have the other guys on the phone, or is it just you?
For the attorneys?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's just me.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool, I like it,
Yeah.
sorry, thanks.
Good. Okay. Call the City of Westfield, Indiana Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order for October 23rd, 2024. Will the staff please note the presence of quorum? Here.
Randy Graham,
Present?
Mayor Willis,
Here,
we do have a quorum.
Thank you. First up is consideration for approval of the minutes of September 25th, 2024. Having had opportunity to review those minutes, are there any additions, corrections, or comments?
not here.
Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve action item number 1, the minutes of September 25th, 2024.
Second,
Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 1 as stated for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 2 under contracts and agreements. Action Enterprise Inc. and Westfield Police Department Special Purchase Agreement, WPD equipment.
Eric Grimes, Assistant Chief of Police, Westfield Police Department for the record. We're just asking the board to approve the contract with Axon. Our 5-year contract is up. We're entering into a new 5-year contract with Axon. And what it is our patrol fleet cameras, body worn cameras, tasers, software, evidence storage, and services and support. This is a new contract. It's broke down per year. And this is comprehensive in nature. The contract's been vetted by legal already, and a special purchase memorandum has already been completed as required by Indiana law for this one due to the discount the city's receiving. And it acts as a sole source provider for the needed equipment within our agency. Answer any questions. This is it'll upgrade all of our sworn personnel with body cameras. Right now only patrol and patrol and SROs have it. This will encompass detectives, and training division, every sworn member in our agency, which is a big upgrade for us. They'll also incorporate our patrol vehicles with the upgraded flock integration in it. So that's a very, very big one for us as well. So and the unlimited storage is a big one too. So this is a big upgrade for us, and we're asking the board to approve the 5-year contract for this one. So.
And this takes care of all the issues with storage and everything that we had previously with the old system.
Yeah, everything is cloud-based on this one, and it's all unlimited storage.
that's crazy, it's unlimited.
So
They don't even force you at 30 days or anything.
it's part of the officer safety program that this package encompasses.
And I read the memo, can you talk a little bit about why this is the only sole source company that meets y'all's needs?
We're currently with them. It's the preferred one with the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office as well, just because of all encompassing and the ease of sharing our evidence with the Prosecutor's Office. It integrates all of our fleet cameras with our body cameras, multi-view. We're able to go live with these in the field, so if our officers are on a scene or something, supervisors or anybody can tap into that live stream it. So if there's a SWAT call out or something, we can live stream that in real time for a multitude of safety reasons for that, so.
And I'll add that, in addition to the memo that we drafted, the Axon sent over like a 20-page description of why it's the sole source provider of all these different pieces of equipment. So that's been vetted too, and we did receive that confirmation from the vendor.
PWC, your taser program, or anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it encompasses the tasers as well. So it'll bring everybody up to the TASER 10, which is the newest TASER. Currently, we have a variety of TASERs, 15 years old, some of them on the department. So this will bring everybody to the newest TASER out there for every sworn officer, to be able to have the same TASER and the most recent TASER. So.
Sounds great to me.
I have no desire to be tased again. Tony got me a Citizens Academy,
Citizens.
and I took the full ride, and it hurt.
They can just use the older ones though.
New ones are better, you should try it.
50,000 volts was enough for me. Any other questions or comments?
None here?
Sorry, I rambled on there.
Alright,
Alright, if there is no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 2, Axon Enterprise Inc., Westfield Police Department Special Purchase Agreement, WPD equipment.
Second.
Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 2 as stated for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 3, Envoy Construction Services LLC and City of Westfield, Public-Private Agreement, Westfield Fire Station 84.
Yeah, Rob Gaylor, Westfield Fire Department. What we have here is an agreement with Envoy to enter into a public-private partnership for the construction of Station 84. That project is through a BOT, Build, Operate, Transfer. So this is part of that process. As you read through, a lot of the document hinges around a GMP, and we're still working on that. And we've redlined some versions and sent it back and still working through that. So as you read this document, I would say that it's not complete yet.
On that note, I guess I have issue with it, with not knowing, where we're gonna end up on this thing. It was action item number 7 that we tabled last month. And I feel like before it hits the agenda, that it should be ready to go, and we have some idea of, what our maximum price is gonna be. I don't know if any of the rest of the board has any comment on that.
I would agree with that. I mean, the BOT is a great function of Indiana code that enables great projects like this, but
Right.
it hinges on that GMP getting figured out. And so I think we gotta figure that out first.
I concur.
Any further discussion on that?
I think we need to reject it until we get a GMP back.
Yeah, it needs to be set and ready to go before it comes back on the agenda. If we just keep tabling it, it's just nothing's gonna happen with it, or then we table it every month. Done this a long time, so.
How many months has this been on our agenda now?
On the agenda, it's not been on the agenda for that many months, but it has been in process since
I think we approved the BOT in
July.
March.
We approved the BOT in
Yes.
March, and so at least since March, we've been going through the process of finishing up with the D&D and coming to an agreement and working on the GMP. So it's been a substantial amount of time.
What is a usual timeline you're used to seeing with this?
I've never done a bot before, however, I know that Mr. Nail, and there's been a lot of bot projects throughout the city. And that time frame is 30 to 45 days, I would say at most, not 6 or 7 months. I think that's atypical.
If I could add to that conversation, it kind of depends. It depends on how far along the design process is when the GMP is set. So the earlier, if it's a 30 to 45 day period from the time the original bot contract is authorized, notice proceed, to the time the GMP is set, there's gonna be a lot more risk in that GMP amount. If you have authorization for the BOT developer to continue further along within the design and estimating process, and maybe they start to do buyout on some of those subcontracts, it might be a 6 to 9 month period or longer before you set that guaranteed maximum price, and then that's usually approved as an amendment to the original contract. And there would then be, there would have been authorization for the developer to be billing throughout that pre-development timeline. So there are multiple ways to cover it.
Exactly.
The
But
design,
it appears that this is not an amendment, this is a GMP within the BOT.
Yep.
and the design of the architectural design has been 100% done and in
Yeah.
their hands
Well,
since the
then we
beginning.
have plenty,
The
yeah.
drawings were handed, ready to go out to bid on March third. I mean, that's really where we're at with the process.
Anything else? If there's no further discussion, and I've already said rather than tabling this month to month, I'm gonna make a motion to deny action item number 3 until we have a guaranteed maximum price and we know what we're voting on. So that's my motion.
And
I
I'll
just wanna
second.
make sure you guys don't have any like internal rules
just
about
gonna-
not bringing, so my concern, because I haven't seen any board of
Blackout
works.
period or something.
Yeah, like planning and zoning has a lot of that, so if you deny it now, there may be some existing past resolution where you guys can't do it again for 6 months, I don't know. I've never seen those, but you as the chair could just state, remove it from the agenda, I don't wanna see it until it's final. I mean, that's up to you guys, you can deny it, but I cannot guarantee you that,
There's no blackout somewhere.
John, are you aware of
I'm
it?
not aware of any. I looked at Caitlin for a reason there, cause I was like, I know on the zoning side, there's like a 6-month,
Blackout.
Mhm.
blackout, so, maybe a safer motion is to, table until it is ready to go. But certainly message received from the board on what your expectations are
Yes.
moving forward.
Under advice of legal, I will amend my motion to remove action item number 3 from the agenda until we have a guaranteed maximum price.
And I'll second that.
Okay? I have a motion made and seconded to remove action item number 3 from the agenda until we have a guaranteed maximum price. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye, opposed? I guess motion carries the removal. I don't normally do things in that direction, so it's tripped me up a little bit. Okay, on to action item number 4. Rundle Esterberger and Associates in City of Westfield Professional Services Contract, Park Street Preliminary Design.
Hi, I'm Janelle Fairman, I'm the Director of Economic Development, and here to present the agreement for professional services for Rundle Ernstberger and Associates in conjunction with Crossroad Engineers to do preliminary design and engineering of improvements to Park Street. This is for a project that will be included, it will be funded under a bond that was approved by City Council earlier this month. And it will, the bond includes Park Street improvements as well as improvements at Simon Moon. And I'll be working together with the Parks Department and Public Works to create upgrades to Park Street, both from a utility standpoint, drainage standpoint, making sure that we have above ground utilities buried. We're taking care of stormwater improvements in the area, but most importantly, and what is driving the project is to create a more aesthetically pleasing and safer environment for pedestrians who are enjoying the Park Street restaurants, and then, of course, trying to park somewhere where they can get to Grand Junction Plaza. So this is, again, for the preliminary engineering. This will include a lot of the due diligence to understand what the costs and scope will be for the utility relocations, any easement acquisitions or right-of-way acquisitions that might be required. So we'll move into a final contract probably sometime after the first of the year. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah, I always worry about Park Street every time I'm there, and I'm wheeling into pick up my pizza or whatever, and I just think, man, this is the parking situation, even the temporary parking and the width of the street. I realize there's sidewalks and whatnot, at least partially on one side, partially on the other side. But I think, what if a fire truck had to come down here right now? What would we do? I know that the valets try to keep it clear and whatnot, but certainly an improvement of that would improve public safety, I think, quite a bit, so.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion?
None here?
Sir?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 4. Rundle, Escherberger and Associates and City of Westfield Professional Services Contract, Park Street Preliminary Design.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to all that I said. Action item number 4, as stated for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 5. Signing authority, 151st Street and Town Road Roundabout Buckeye Reimbursement Agreement.
For the record, Michael Pierce, City Engineer, Public Works. As you know, we have a future roundabout project at 151st and Town Road that should be beginning in the spring of 2025. During the design process on that project and through utility coordination, we identified 2 pipelines that run through that intersection. One of which is Buckeye. It runs on the north side of the intersection perpendicular to Town Road. That's an 8-inch high pressure gas main that is in a casing, so basically a steel pipe that's around the existing high pressure gas main to protect it. That casing basically ends on either side of the existing pavement out there, so it's not very wide at this point. Obviously with building a roundabout there, that road's gonna get widened out pretty substantially through that area. One of Buckeye's requirements is that they cannot have a casing that ends underneath of the pavement within that location, because that causes issue with their line. So that pipeline is also within easement, so therefore any work that's needed to be done to either relocate or remove that casing within that area, that's reimbursable per the NDOT guidelines. So in working with Buckeye, they generated an estimate for the work to be done to remove that casing and reline the pipe under the roadway, which is attached on the second page of this. It is an estimate, so they gave a high and a low range within there. The signing authority before you is for the high range, basically just to ensure that we're capturing all of our costs within there. Currently we're working through some issues with the actual agreement, working with legal to get the language in there to our satisfaction. So before you is a signing authority, basically just allowing John Nail to sign the contract once we finalize the agreement with Buckeye, so that we can reimburse them for their work prior to our roundabout work starting on the project, so we can build the roundabout in the spring.
You said this is reimbursable through NDOT.
It is reimbursable because it is an easement.
Gotcha.
That's what makes it reimbursable. And we did have some correspondence with NDOT on this to make sure that, we were required to reimburse them for this work, and it seems to be in agreement with us that we need to reimburse them.
We're also working with NDOT to look for some additional grant opportunity money to cover these costs as well. So that's not a certainty, but we're exploring those options. I think I'm optimistic, I'll say, that there'll be some additional grant money available to cover these costs. As these things do pop up from time to time, unfortunately, and we're hopeful to get some additional funding from NDOT to cover it.
And a motion would be up to the max of 267,377. Is that appropriate?
Yep, correct. Yeah, that's the high end of their estimate. It may be lower than that depending
Right.
on how the work actually goes.
But
Yeah,
not
they
to
they
exceed.
provide a range, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing from me, so.
Sir? Nope. All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 5, signing authority, 151st Street and Town Road Roundabout Buckeye reimbursement agreement up to a max of $267,377.
Move to second.
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 5 as stated for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to action item number 6, United Consulting and City of Westfield Monon Tunnel Design Supplemental Agreement number 1.
John Nail, Director of Public Works, City of Westfield. This is related to our Monon Tunnel project that I know you guys are already aware of. If you recall, we entered into a contract with United Consulting back in 2019 to start the design of this tunnel. Unfortunately, our previous council in 2022 directed Public Works to pause that design. They were not willing to move forward with the project and did not want us to continue paying United for design work. So as of June 30th, 2022, this design was paused. When Mayor Willis took office at the beginning of January, we immediately re-engaged United Consulting to continue design on this project. And to United's credit, they were very transparent up front, given the 1.5-year pause, that they were gonna require some supplemental fee to continue, and I'll explain why that's the case in just a second. So before you is the supplemental for the continuation of the design for the Monon Tunnel. It is in an amount of $88,120. The original contract was $460,190. So the new contract amount will be $548,310. The majority of this is related to a couple things. A portion of it is for updated hourly rates. Engineering work, unfortunately, those engineers on the consulting side keep getting paid more and more money, and the hourly rates for that design work is reflected. So a portion of that increase for this supplemental is to reflect their updated hourly rates. But then a bulk, the majority of the supplemental would be for redesign work that United did as directed by Public Works that resulted in what we believe will be substantial construction cost savings on the project. Namely, we did some redesign work on retaining wall types to save money on that construction cost from the original design. And what we elected to do was use a proprietary product called a Gravix wall, which necessitated some redesign on United, but also necessitated some additional geotech work and will require some additional shop drawing review after the bids are received on this project. So that encompasses what this $88,000 change order is for. We've reviewed it. We think it's very much in line with what we'd expect. And again, United was very transparent when we re-engaged this project that this would be coming. So we'd recommend that the board approve this supplemental, and we are on track for a February letting for this project. Any questions?
You just answered my question.
CEG, water relocation, there's a large water main on the south side of 161st Street. They are scheduling crews for the beginning of January for that relocation work, so that is underway and getting scheduled. They've already started material ordering for that work. And so you're gonna start seeing some dirt being moved around at that location in January, with hopefully a successful bid opening in February, and construction will then move forward from there.
Turner, is that the place where the coffin's already in place?
Correct, yeah, so back when 31 was put into play, was constructed, and that interchange was constructed on 161st Street, there is a portion of that tunnel underneath the roadway that's going to allow us to keep 161st Street open in both directions during construction.
That was my recollection, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but there was forethought to this project even back
Right.
then to make sure that we could keep 161st Street open to traffic during construction.
Very important, but it is a huge safety risk. Yeah. Questions, comments?
No, this is great.
No?
Keep moving.
All right, if there's no further conversation, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 6. United Consulting and City of Westfield Monon Tunnel Design Supplemental Agreement number 1.
Move to second.
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 6 as stated for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated for the record.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as stated for the record. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to department reports. First up is Chief Gaylor.
Yeah, before you is the two reports, one for the month of September. John, just open Q3.
Sure.
But the month of September, just a couple quick highlights. We're averaged 13.48 calls a day, which was down a little bit in previous months and down in comparison to 23. It was really a quiet month of September for us. But when you look at Q3, overall, we are up in calls comparatively to the same time previously. So 23 to 24 overall in that quarter, received more runs in 24 than we did in 23. The biggest difference in the districts, as you see here, you can see some discrepancies that there was, you know, almost double or 60% more at Station 3 versus 23 to fiscal year 24 for the same time period. And that the biggest difference is we've started adding a medic unit, and it actually went in place in October, but we started prefacing that. So for that quarter in 24, they've been taking runs out of that. So it's another unit in that district that we didn't have in 23. So that's why it looks like there's a huge disparity there in Station 3's district versus year 23 and year 24. We added another unit, and Reed District took some runs from 1s and 2s and gave it to 3s, and so that's why the discrepancies there. But overall, you can see that we were up almost 5.5% in runs comparatively. And then again, for that quarter, 17, almost 18% of our calls were to extended care facilities. And we're keeping track of that, and we're having conversations with those folks. And it's like a windsock. They get good, new administration changes, some of their old ways revert back, and we show up again and do some counseling and education, and they get good, and then people move on. But happy to answer any questions that you folks have or clarify anything.
Need to figure out the assisted living one. I know we talked about it nauseam.
Yep.
Gotta figure it out.
I think their performance reflex management's, like you said, you get them trained and then there's turnover and then they revert back to the old ways.
There's a couple things, and it's not entirely fair to pin all of these on the care facilities. In certain areas of the facility, it is like they rent an apartment, for lack of a better terms. And so the individual that rents the room can call 911. And so those are things that we can't control. Even with staffing and management being excellent, we're still gonna get called to those facilities. Where we're really trying to curtail the challenges. They have every people picking up device known to humankind, stop calling the fire department to come do that.
Yeah.
Now, occasionally we get a bariatric where they need assistance, completely different scenario in our mind. But that is atypical. We don't run on bari patient every day. A little different.
Yeah, I've always been kind of in tune with this, and I'm very in tune with it right now because I'm looking at putting my in-laws into assisted living in Noblesville, not in Westfield. We didn't choose him. We made sure we moved in Noblesville, but seriously though, it's just going in and asking the questions of the management staff. This is a situation. What do you do? You know, what do you do? And you know, unfortunately, the answers at some of the facilities, we like visited several in around Hamilton County. And I mean, the first answer you get is we call 911. Like, why? Why do you do that for this? So it's trying to understand what level of care that my loved ones are going to have at these facilities. I want someone there who has the ability to take care of these things without having to call the fire department every time. So it's a problem not just in Westfield. It's much bigger. It's a huge problem, and
It's a systemic problem across the country.
yeah, it's becoming
not
very
just Westfield.
real to me right now as I go and I visit those facilities. So yeah, appreciate the diligence of working with this towards a solution. Since we really don't have any oversight over you know, whatever training and things that we can continue, to do, you know, to reduce that number, obviously, and I know that you guys have been working very hard on it, and much appreciated, and keep up the good work on that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments for Chief?
None from me.
Thanks, sir. Move on to police, Chief Grimes.
Sure, I can give the board a couple updates just internally. Maybe some new faces, new movements. We've been busy last month. We'll have a new school resource officer in January, be Nick Miller. He came from the fire department. He went to the academy with us. He'll be starting in the.
Everybody's trying to get out of the fire department. They spend too much time in nursing homes picking old ladies.
Now they're going to school.
Yeah, so he's going to the middle school. Officer Trump's going to come out and he's gonna go in. That was elected for him. He wanted to do that, so he applied for that and got selected for that. And we'll have a new detective coming in January as well. DC Bennett. He's also gonna be part-time FBI Financial Crimes Task Force detective, so that'll pull in some additional federal resources and credentials for that position, which is very valuable for us. And we have 2 new canine handlers coming in the spring. Brad Robbins and Preston Howard. They've been selected to have 2 dogs. In addition to canine pilot will probably retire at some point at the end of the year, and he'll get another dual purpose dog. So just some internal movement there that may be happening that you'll see at the beginning of the year. So just a couple highlights there.
I was just thinking back, and you may or may not know the answer. I'll just ask you. Do you know how many officers currently you have that have been through the FBI Academy?
I think we have, including Chief Keen now, say 6.
Yeah.
And then Rob Dine, Captain Dine, investigations is slotted to go in March.
Oh, okay, good.
He's coming up next. He's been pulled, so he'll go to the academy in March, so, which is great.
That's great. I actually know him pretty well too, so. All right. Anything else,
Nothing from me.
sir?
Nope.
Thank you. And on to Public Works, Mr. Nail.
Yeah, so the headline for this month would be our State Road 32 bid opening. So that reconstruction project downtown had a bid letting October 9th. And the engineer's estimate on that project was 15.3 million. Our low bid was 14.3 million, so about $1 million under our engineer's estimate. Reith Riley was the apparent low bidder, very reputable contractor. Just got done doing some work in Noblesville in a similar sort of urban setting. So we feel really good about that. We're excited. It was very competitive bids and very successful bid opening on that project. So excited to hit that milestone on that project. Tomlinson Road is open to traffic. Striping should be at some point by the end of October. That's when the contract is completed. So they're scheduling the striping subcontractor to finish that work up, but it is open to traffic currently. Our 2024 resurface package should be done by the end of next week. Wrapped up some Centennial work. Right now, if you drive on 161st Street between Oak and Union, they're doing some resurfacing on that segment between where the Oak Road roundabout project stopped and the newer pavement of Lantern Commons kind of starts. That segment up the hill is getting resurfaced today, actually. I drove through there today, it looks good. So that was a additional piece we were able to add because of the cost savings on our bid, our successful bid for the 24 package. So that total resurface package should be done by the end of next week, which is great.
That's
And
a
then-
good job. But where are we at, so I don't forget this question, where are we at? We talked last week or the week before about that real sharp turn without any kind of a shoulder, and trucks are having a hard time navigating it
On Union.
Yeah.
At
at that new intersection.
We're looking at some options there. We actually spoke with Chris Page, who's on Michael's staff. He is a concrete contractor, talking about how to saw cut that curb down and maybe some other options to allow for some additional truck movement at that turn. We don't have anything scheduled yet, but we are kind of talking through some potential solutions that make sense long term. And then lastly, I do want to point out the Oak Ridge Trail Extension project. So Oak Ridge, where are we at, Michael?
You're too far north.
Too far north.
Keep going. South.
So north,
Right there.
yeah, so north of Village Farms, we had a trail gap here and a crossing where there's an old timber bridge that was installed by the developer many, many years ago. This has always been a gap, so we worked towards getting that trail paved, is a common theme of some concerns from some residents in the area that they want to see that trail gap filled. And so that should be also complete by the end of the month for that trail gap completion. I do want to give a lot of credit to our street department. This timber bridge had some sections that were really in bad shape and some extension that needed to be done to match up with the new trail. I'm gonna email the board some pictures of what they did, because I'm really proud of the work they did. It looks great, and it was all done in-house, which is fantastic. So just another example of our street department kind of taking on any task we asked them to do, and so you'll be seeing some pictures from that shortly.
Are we gonna keep that trail in the right of way, or?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's all in the right of way,
It stays in the right of way. We did not acquire any right of way for that trail. Yep. The grading, there's some kind of weird grading, because this is actually a large culvert and some side slopes, so we had to be creative, I would say, on some of the grading to make that trail work. That's why the trail wasn't there originally, but I think we'll be really happy with the product. That's all I have. Any questions?
Just great work with the street department and all the things that they do around the city that make it a better place to be, and they do it without spending all the extra money because the projects like this probably would not be getting completed right now were it not for the competence of our street department. So much appreciated.
Thank you.
John, with that $1 million savings for State Road 32, does that roll back into our road impact fee fund, or where does that money go?
Ultimately, it's a savings in our road impact fee fund, yes.
Anything else, sir?
Nope, I don't think so.
Nothing here.
Alright, there's no further business, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to adjourn the Westfield Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for October 23rd, 2024. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Rob, what'd you think about that shot I made? You noticed
That was good.
That was really good, wasn't it? That was really
Quick
good.
pitch whether you made it.
I wasn't aiming for that hole, but it was really good.
Don't say that, Mayor. That's exactly what I wanted it to do.
All right.